The highest court in Scotland has ruled that it is unlawful unanimously, and in this wonderful equal union which we're told so much about, which is the United Kingdom, then the Scottish court has jurisdiction over the Westminster Parliament. We are Scottish MPs and we're represented there.
I'll just add, I mean, we ought to be in Westminster this morning representing our constituents, and we're not, because Boris Johnson has chosen to shut Parliament down. That has now been ruled to be against the law, and Parliament should be immediately reconvened so that we can consider what Boris Johnson is doing to this country.
So what is your next move now?
Well, we'll have to see what happens in the Supreme Court next week, but our next move is to demand the recall of Parliament. We need to get back representing the people who elected us, the people who put us there at this time of political crisis.
Lord Carloway says in the summary of his judgment that it would be unlawful if the purpose of prorogation was to stymie parliamentary scrutiny of the executive, which he says was a central pillar of the good governance principles enshrined in the Constitution. That, in effect, was the argument you were making.
That's the argument we are making, and that's why we feel so completely vindicated. And of course, as time has gone on, we've uncovered more and more evidence that this was a plot by Boris Johnson, Jacob Rees-Mogg and others to prevent us representing our constituents' views and to prevent us scrutinising them as they try to take us through a backdoor towards a no-deal Brexit. And so we feel utterly vindicated, and I would be confident that the UK Supreme Court will uphold this decision.
So will you demand an election now?
Well, we're demanding for Parliament to be prorogued. We don't have time for an election before the 31st of October. We need to stop a no-deal Brexit. Fraser of Allender Institute this morning have pointed out the impact it would have on the Scottish economy alone. Massive job losses and a massive hit on GDP. So that's what we have to focus on for the moment. The time will come for an election, and we as SNP MPs relish that because we feel we have a very strong case to put to the Scottish public on the way the British Constitution is creaking and the need for independence for Scotland.
What are you calling on the Prime Minister to do ahead of the Supreme Court?
We are calling on him we are calling for Parliament to be recalled immediately.
The Prime Minister can come back and face the music.
Let's just remember what the British government was arguing in this court case. It was arguing essentially that the Prime Minister could, at any time, for any reason, and for however long he wanted, prorogue Parliament and get rid of parliamentary scrutiny. That is an astonishing proposition, and we should all be celebrating the fact that the courts have found that unlawful.
What happens if...
What's your reaction?
I mean, I've never been able to contemplate the possibility that the law of the United Kingdom might be that the Prime Minister, with his slender mandate from a tiny fraction of the electorate, could treat our sovereign and democratically elected Parliament as a mere inconvenience to be tossed aside at his pleasure. And I am thrilled. I'm thrilled for every single person in the United Kingdom who believes in elected representative democracy that Scotland's highest court agrees. Of course, our work is not done. We need now to hear what the Supreme Court says. I am optimistic, as I have always been optimistic, that our courts will protect the rule of law and will protect parliamentary democracy.
What message would you give to Boris Johnson in light of this?
You cannot break the law with impunity, Boris Johnson. The rule of law will be upheld by Scotland's courts and I hope also the Supreme Court of the United Kingdom.